All right, let's call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order at 10:01. All those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sounds great when a whole group says it.
Yeah. We've got a lot of items on today's agenda, but is there any public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda? All right, seeing none, any additions to the agenda from either commissioner? No. And meeting minutes all right? All right, we'll take a motion then.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meetings held March 12th, 2024.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the meetings held on March 12th, 2024. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to an announcement by Carrie and also Caitlin, is it Buchett? Buheit. Regarding the Applegate recovery naloxone distribution.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, good morning. Invited Caitlin to explain some new things going on. So Applegate Recovery of State College has been recognized by the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency and the Pennsylvania Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs as a recognized entity, which is a point of contact for any individuals and groups within our local community of Center County to receive naloxone, drug testing, drug checking strips, as well as other overdose prevention resources. So I'm going to let Caitlin explain what's going on.
Well, thank you for having me, and I want to say thank you to Carrie, the Hope Initiative, and Mr. Dersham for supporting this initiative, because I don't think it would have happened without your support. But this is really exciting, I think, for Center County. It's important to have overdose prevention supplies available. So as Carrie mentioned, we do have naloxone, which is commonly known as Narcan. And we also have Cloxato, which is a higher dose of the naloxone product as well. So these drugs are really important for overdose prevention. It's something that can be hard to talk about, but it's super important that we have this available for the community. So we're super excited that Applegate Recovery, we're located on the Benner Pike. We have this free to the community, so anyone can come by. You don't have to be personally affected or involved in any type of substance use disorder, any community organization. So we're just trying to get the word out there and make sure that this is available to the community and in the most hands possible, because this is a life-saving drug and seconds count when it's an emergency. And so the quicker that it can be administered, the sooner that we can save that person's life and hopefully have them on to the life of recovery and just prosperation in the county. So thank you again to everyone. These are also the drug checking strips that we have available. And again, any organization, any person, you do not have to be associated with anything or anyone. You can just stop by and pick those up. My information is available, and also on our Applegate Recovery State College website, we have that information and information about how to use these products safely, which is also on the box as well. So yes, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Great, thanks, Caitlin. Is it okay for you to give the actual address on the Benner Pike?
Yeah,
Okay.
We're at 915 Benner Pike. I always tell everyone we're right by Tractor Supply. That seems to be a landmark for people.
Yes.
Kind of looks like a house, but yeah, Applegate Recovery, so
All
thank
right,
you.
so you're in the house near Tractor Supply on the Benner Pike. Appreciate you coming. I do know a couple weeks after we gave the Sheriff's Department some naloxone, they literally saved somebody's life.
Absolutely.
So you never know when you might need it. I'll pass it over to Commissioner Concepcion and then Commissioner Dersham.
Yeah, thanks for coming and speaking on this. So this is the sort of thing, if you had a restaurant or a store or anywhere that you have the public coming in and out, it might be a good idea to have this in a first aid kit, right?
Absolutely. I think anyone should have it. Again, even if you're saying to me, well, I don't know anyone who uses drugs. You never know whenever someone is prescribed an opiate, maybe even from a surgery or something, and accidentally takes too much and they're in an event where they need this. So it's really important for it to be out there on the street, and it can't hurt anyone. So if you think that someone's in, an overdose situation and they're actually not, and you administer this, you will not hurt them. So it's just a really important tool. And I think you said the word there, emergency. So when we think of like first aid kit, I would think of adding this. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Commissioner Dersham, I know you've worked very hard in this area for a number of years.
Well, I think Amber, your point is well taken. You know, people think of bringing this in and saying, okay, do I have somebody who's got a substance use disorder and, you know, keeping it around the house? Well, there's a lot of folks that are in the public eye, whether it's a restaurant, a hotel, I mean, the list goes on and on, whether, you know, it might be a museum, it might be a daycare, it might be any place. To have these around literally saves lives. And it's one of those things where their availability is almost unrestricted now. You know, it used to be you needed a prescription, you had to go through a process, but the value of this has been proven over and over. And when you have in excess of 70 million or 70,000 folks a year that are dying of drug overdoses in our country, it is an indication that this is certainly necessary. And it's been a lifesaver here in this county, and I think it reflects why we have maybe some of the lowest statistics in the state for overdose deaths. And you know, we've to Caitlin's credit and a lot of other folks in the community, we've made sure that these things are available, and they are available, and to make use of them because they will save lives, and there will be lives changed because of it. So I appreciate you coming in this morning and telling us more about it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, appreciate it. Any questions from the press? No? Just checking. All right, great. Well, thanks again for coming. Appreciate it, and it's 9:15 Benner Pike, your Tractor Supply.
Yes, sir.
One other thing before we move on. One of the, you know, we have AED boxes around.
Yep.
Now you're going to start seeing the locks boxes, and these things will be they'll be popping up all over the
We
place.
have a Nalox box out in our lobby next to our AED machine and several other county buildings, and we're actually going to roll out more of those. And the HOPE Initiative wants to partner with different businesses in the community to look at putting Nalox boxes in their restaurants, in their businesses, things like that, to have it available, so that, you know, we can really think of this as a life-saving tool, like we would an AED machine. I should mention all our first responders in the community already have Narcan and have had it for many years. We get that also through the state, through Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, but this is a new initiative that PCC is launching to make it more readily available for every citizen to have it free of charge. And the HOPE Initiative does community events, and often Applegate Recovery will be at the table right beside us with the Narcan, and then the county has the resources for folks to seek different treatment or services. So it's a really good partnership.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
And our jail as well is been recognized as an entity and will receive Narcan to distribute to everyone leaving the institution.
One of the downsides of Narcan, though, is that it is temperature sensitive, so you can't just leave it in your car in extreme cold and extreme heat situations.
ask
So,
that,
yeah, it does have that limitation. So, and as much as it, you know, you like to carry it with you all the time, you have to be sensitive of the fact that it's not.
I tell ladies, keep it in the purse, you know, take it in, take it out with you, but, you know, you fellas, you might have to find another solution for it, but, yeah.
Well, it seems like the idea of having a box in any kind of public place that has, so that you have access to things like those kind of emergencies, it should go in your emergency supply box.
Absolutely, yeah, anywhere that I think of like an emergency box or a first aid box, I think this should be added to it, so, yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it, and hopefully the
Thanks so
public
much.
will take
Caitlin.
advantage.
Thank you,
Yes,
Carrie.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Yes. And moving on now to proclamation number 11 of 2024, proclaiming March 17th through the 22nd as Pennsylvania 4-H Week in Center County. I think that also overlaps on the spring equinox. They might have done that on purpose. So we've got a lot of people here. We have Ethan, we have Brittany, we have Mary Beth, and we have at least, I think, a couple of 4-H students as well. So if you'd come on up.
Come and join us.
Yes. Steve doesn't
I'll
normally
let
bite.
the special guest have a seat. Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Helm. I am the 4-H educator here in Center County. A little over a year into my job, so I come into this meeting a lot more confident than I did last year about the 4-H program. This county has a great 4-H program. We have about 20 clubs that we run, anywhere from expressive arts to STEM to robotics to agriculture to livestock. We cover it all here, except alpacas. We do not have an alpaca club, which is available in 4-H. Maybe one day we'll get
I
it.
thought we had 2 herds of alpacas in the county.
How about emus? We
We'll work
got,
on
Yeah.
it. We'll add it to the wish list.
All right.
You know, we'll start scouting out some volunteers for that because I'm not your expert in that area at all.
Emu wranglers would come in handy.
So in last year's program year from 22 to 23, we had 108 active adult volunteers who are helping to run our program. Those are the boots on the ground people. They're in this room with us today, and they run our clubs and teach all the kids all about what they're learning in 4-H. Last year we had 384 active members in our county. We are very close to that number again this year, which means that we are improving since COVID. We did have a drop in COVID, as most people did, and we're coming back, working on it. So in the folders that I gave you guys, it's got some stats and information about our club specifically. As you can see, we have a very large livestock program, which is evident in our Grange Fair, which if you're from Center County, you know all about the Grange Fair. If you're not from Center County, you will learn about the Grange Fair, because I sure have. But we do have a very large portion of our members are part of the animal science program as well as the robotics. We don't have someone here to represent our robotics program today, so I'm going to give you guys some stats on that. We have over 100 kids in our robotics club. They're split into different age groups, and the age groups compete in different types of competitions depending on their age group. So on February 28th, Center Punch set out to Pittsburgh for the Greater Pittsburgh Regional Competition. Overall, the team placed 5th out of 50 teams. They had lots of fun and learned so much about their robot, and then they advanced to Cleveland, Ohio for the Buckeye Regional. Congratulations to our FTC Team Center Punch Soldiers for their excellent performance at the Pennsylvania State Championship. They were recognized with the Judges Award for their competitive robot, creativity, and professionalism despite their youth. And the 4th through 6th grade Lego League team did an amazing job at the 2024 FLLPA Central Championship in February. The 6 teams had a blast and showed tremendous perseverance and teamwork in both their robot matches and their innovation project presentations. In the past few months, the robotics club has been meeting upwards of 40 hours a week. They leave school and then they go to their club meetings afterwards. So each day they would have
exhausting.
hours in the afternoon that they would spend working on their robots and going towards this. So their competition season is coming to an end right now, so they're about to take a nice, well-deserved break. But a lot of great things were done in that program this past year, and a very large part of our volunteers are part of that program since it is a large portion of our students. And again, I'm glad that we have them to be the experts on the program material because I don't know much about robots. So today here with us we have 2 of our 4-H'ers. They've both been involved in the program for many years, and I will let them introduce themselves. First we'll have Hannah Trigg.
My name's Hannah. Through 4-H, I've been able to get my Diamond Clover Award. It's the highest award you can get through the Clover Awards. And through that, I created Clothing Closet. And last year, the first year, it's a 2-year project. First year, you get your finances and figure out how you're going to come up with it. And the second year, I was able to actually hold the event, and we collected clothes from the community and stored them, and then I had volunteers come in and help me, and we held an event at the Bald Eagle Area High School. First event was held last year on July 15th, and then after that we held a second event, and we're hoping this year to be able to hold a 3rd event because there's been people asking when we're going to be holding our next event because it really helped the community out and everyone.
Hannah, can you talk about when you guys set up for the first day, how many bags of clothing did you have?
We were overwhelmed. It was 2 horse trailers load of clothing and shoes that were donated from everyone. We never expected that many donations at all. It took us hours to sort everything.
So yeah, the Clover Award program, it's something that starts at the very beginning of your 4-H adventure, where you can earn, every couple years you can earn the next level of the award. So it starts at the green clover, and then you have the white, the silver, the gold, or the bronze is in there. And so Hannah has worked herself all the way up to the diamond clover, which is the highest level of the Clover Award program. During this past February, the State Leadership Conference is held at the Penn Stater. It's a statewide event for our 4-Hers. She was recognized at that event and received a certificate. But today we actually have her Diamond Clover pin, which will be given to her from Commissioner Higgins.
Why don't you stand up? Congratulations. Very impressive. I saw you a couple of months ago at the event at the church. And I'm
Yeah.
like, would you ever consider working for the county? You really would. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations, Hannah.
Yes.
All right, and we also have here with us Jaylene Everhart, who has traveled on several trips with our 4-H statewide program, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her adventures in 4-H.
Yeah, so like Brittany said, my name is Shailene Everhart, and I'm a member and officer of multiple 4-H clubs here in Center County. And I recently had the opportunity to go to National 4-H Congress in Atlanta, Georgia, where I was able to learn a variety of skills from leadership and networking to healthy habits. I was then able to use those skills to go to a National Young Farmer Education Association event called Agriculture Promise Forum in Washington, D.C. Being a part of 4-H, I have gained confidence in my public speaking, leadership, and teamwork skills. I'm very thankful for my parents and my leaders and extension agents that have made my experience in 4-H so amazing. This program is an amazing program for kids to get involved in from ages 8 to 18. It teaches many life skills and has given me many long life memories and friends. And I'd like to thank you guys for supporting 4-H here in Center County, because it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to a lot of other 4-H members within the county.
Nice.
Wonderful.
One more thing about the program here in Center County, we are starting a program development committee. We had some turnover in the last couple of years with educators, and so it used to exist, and now we are bringing it back. The program development committee is open to youth and adults. It's not just for people in the 4-H program. If people are affected by the 4-H program or have been involved with it in the past, we would love your input. Basically, we're calling it the PDC, is going to meet once a month and discuss what we're doing here in Center County, how can we improve our 4-H program, what else are the kids looking for, and kind of plan our programs and events around that. So if anyone is interested, they can reach out to me. My email address is bqh5475@psu.edu, or you can look us up on the Facebook. We do have a Facebook page for the Center County 4-H program. Anything else y'all want to add?
Nice.
Thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And 4-H is one of the major programs for youth in Center County. I know I've ended up dropping several $1,000s on rabbits
you.
at
Yes,
Grange
thank you.
Fair for the last 6 or 7 years. And very much enjoyed also visiting your robotics program, your awards program. Just a fabulous group that young people just love to participate in. Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, thanks for coming and sharing with us some of the great activities that you've been able to do through 4-H. I think having seen some of the concerns that we've had with youth, coming out of the pandemic and some of the mental health issues, one of the things we know is that involvement and engagement in activities that, are, whether they're educational or social or developmental, are, just really critical for the well-being of young people. And 4-H is clearly, ticks off all of those boxes, right? It's educational, it's developmental, it's social, it gets kids outdoors. It exposes them to potential career paths that they might not necessarily be exposed to early on in school, but which 4-H is able to help develop those interests. And then by the time you get to high school, then there's usually agricultural science experiences available. in education, like there's been so much discussion about the importance of STEM education, and 4-H is like right there supporting kids from elementary school on in STEM education. And I think it's important that we realize that animal sciences and wildlife and those kind of experiences through 4-H, that is STEM education, and this is really an important part of the STEM education ecosystem in Center County. Of course, the robotics as well. So, yeah, thanks for coming and talking about it. It's great to hear about your experiences.
Thanks, Commissioner Dershowitz.
Well, do they still have 4-H camp in the summer?
Yes.
Maybe you
Yes.
can talk a little bit about that, because that's always been sort of fascinating to me.
Yeah, so 4-H camp, in the state of Pennsylvania, we run our camps regionally. So Center County is involved in the Camp Harmony group. So we go to Camp Harmony in Hooversville, Pennsylvania. It is going to be June 23rd, if that's a Sunday, until that Thursday of this year. And during camp, you do activities like crafts, climbing, swimming, get to know your group better, hanging out in the cabin, and just having a good camp experience. It's like a traditional camp experience. In the evenings with a campfire, singing silly songs and doing skits, but also building that relationship that you have. Since it is regional, it's beyond our county. It's not just our county. It's other kids from the area that are going to the camp as well. The counselors of the camp are some of our past campers. And so this year we do have 2 Center County 4-Hers who are going to be acting as counselors for the summer, and we're very excited about that. And then hopefully we'll have some returners heading back again this year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, I just think it's the whole program is just pretty amazing, and it's we think about it maybe once a year at Grange Fair because we see it all over, but there are so many programs for kids, and really would encourage young folks to give it a look and see if it's something that might fit, because it's not just agriculture. It embraces a whole bunch of different areas of interest, and I've seen some pretty amazing stuff over the years that's come out of 4-H, and Mary Beth and Ed and everybody has come before you has shepherded this this group for good for our community, and I think it's very positive, and I think people really we need to highlight it so people don't it doesn't fall off the radar for a lot of folks and a lot of kids that might really benefit from it. So thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, we like to say 4-H is for everyone. So, you're all
So
welcome.
if you could wait here just a minute,
Okay.
we'll approve the proclamation and then we'll present it.
Okay.
Okay, so I will move to adopt Proclamation 11 of 2024, proclaiming March 17th through the 23rd, 2024, as Pennsylvania 4-H Week in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt proclamation number 11, proclaiming the 17th through the 23rd of March as Pennsylvania 4-H Week in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, why don't you bring the whole group up and
Let's take a
we'll
picture.
present the proclamation.
I'd also, when I was thinking about people that came before you, I always think about Mickey Peters, and I think of Ernie Harpster and some of the folks that really have been, literally were at this for decades and decades. So just have to give them a shout
I
out.
have big shoes to fill.
Maybe posthumously, but they're still here with us.
Yes, absolutely. Ed's still volunteering.
Coming over,
for
I think
the
we'll
program.
want the two of you on this side of Bellefonte.
Well done.
And
Mary Beth,
Yes,
Mary
dear.
Beth.
would you like to join us? I think you should.
Get up here.
all right,
Stand. You can
let's
stand
tighten it
next
up a
to me
little
on
bit
it.
though now.
What was that?
Let's tighten it up a little bit, especially, there we go. Where Stephen Ethan's at.
I'm sorry.
All right, just a second, I think the parents still want to do a couple shots. Great, thanks.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for supporting
You're
us out
welcome.
too.
No
Mary Beth.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Well done. Well done. Thanks. You're a very good speaker.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, if you could leave the door open, I think we've got a lot of department heads waiting in the hall for their contracts.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to resolution number 5 of 2024, resolution designating John Fronick Jr. as Center County's Language Access Coordinator. I believe Tanya Collins from CEDACOG, right?
Yes.
Yeah, will present.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is, yes, the resolution that would designate Mr. Franick as the Center County Language Access Coordinator. This is in compliance with CDBG regulations and the master files that we at CEDACOG make sure is all in line for the CDBG Community Development Block Grants. So if anybody would have any kind of access issues to meetings due to language, they would contact Mr. Franick, and we would work together then to make sure that we can get access and any kind of notices, translated documents, iSpeak cards, any of those types of things would be available.
Good.
Great. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion or Commissioner Dershowitz?
Nope,
No?
it's all good.
All right, we'll take a motion then.
I'll move to adopt Resolution 5 of 2024.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution Number 5 of 2024. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. And then Tanya will stay up there because we have under contracts, several contracts involving planning and community development
Yes.
through the Federal Community Development Block Grant Program.
Yes, that is correct. Consider for approval today the subrecipient agreement with Haynes-Arensburg Municipal Authority for the fiscal year 2020 Community Development Block Grant Funds for the Haynes-Arensburg Water Well Rehab Phase 2 project. The grant total is $54,670.73. This is for the period of February 8th, 2024 to September 2nd, 2024. This is the second phase of the project for the water line, and this is for generators and transfer switches as the Phase 2 part.
Great. Let's see. Have you covered both of them, or?
Nope, I can go on to that second
Keep going.
one.
We're going to
Absolutely.
take one motion to do all three.
Also considered for your approval is the subrecipient agreement with Haynes-Arensburg Municipal Authority for the fiscal year 2021 Community Development Block Grants. This is for also the Haynes-Arensburg Water Well Rehab Phase 2 project. The grant total is $128,500, and it's for the period of February 8th, 2024 to January 17th, 2025. So that's just a multi-year, it's the 2020-2021 funds for that same project.
Great. And then we have a community development language access plan.
Yes, and this is also considering for your approval today, the Community Development Block Grant Language Access Plan for limited English proficient individuals. The Language Access Plan establishes guidelines and requirements for the provision of language access services. There is no cost to the county for this, and again, this just provides for anything that would need translated documents, again, the iSpeak cards, surveys, anything that would assist those limited English proficient individuals.
And the commissioners would like to thank our county planning department and CEDACOG for all the additional effort over and above normal to get the Haynes-Arensburg Municipal Authority grants across the finish line in
Yes,
time.
yes.
Thank
It's
you.
a good thing.
Yes. Commissioner Concepcion, anything?
No, thanks. Good projects.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
It's all good. Thank you.
All
Wonderful,
right.
thank you.
So we'll take a motion to approve the items.
I'll move to approve planning and community development items 1 through 3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the three items for planning and community development. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks for coming,
Thank you so
Tanya.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we move on to a very unique item for the Commissioners Department. Julian, I think Domer might cover this a little bit.
Good morning. I come before you to request the approval of a purchase of a 16-door community columbarium from Happy Valley Monuments. This has been a project that's been a long time coming. I've worked very closely with both Debs Mail and Vilmer Smeltzer to get us to this place to really fit the need that exists. We'd like to utilize this to house the current, I believe, 41 unclaimed individuals. The columbarium will allow us to have this be either the final resting place for those individuals, or should people come forward to claim those remains, we would be able to have access to them. The columbarium will be placed in the Zion Cemetery. An anonymous donor has donated the 5 plots, as well as the upkeep fee for the plots, so that the columbarium could be placed in that cemetery. The ask today is for $19,530, which includes the columbarium, the shipping and transportation to the cemetery, and the installation.
Great. Appreciate the background there, Julia. This is so far a once in a 224-year request. Columbarium, a term from Latin, is a structure reserved for the reverential and usually public storage of funerary urns holding the cremated remains of the dead. This community columbarium will hold the remains of, you're saying it's roughly 41.
That's the current count.
41 deceased individuals who have not been claimed by their family or friends. In cases where the remains of the deceased individuals are not claimed, the coroner's office cremates the remains. We've been storing these cremains in urns here in the Willowbank building while waiting for those remains to be claimed. And at this point, our secure storage area for these urns is nearly full. The commission, or even more than full. The commissioners would very much like to thank the family who donated the 5 burial plots and long-term maintenance that's required for the community columbarium. With such a generous donation, the commissioners decided to purchase a large community columbarium that will hopefully hold several more decades of additional urns. The commissioners plan to hold a solemn interment service shortly after the community columbarium is installed, and we plan to coordinate with the coroner's office for periodic interment services in the future, possibly annually. Commissioner Concepcion and then Commissioner Dershowitz.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for all your work in getting this organized. Really grateful to the donor who helped to make this possible. And it seems like this will be an appropriately respectful way for us to, provide a place for those remains to be stored in an appropriate manner, in respect for the people whose lives they represent. So.
Commissioner Dershowitz.
I think we planned well into the future for the needs of Center County. Unfortunately or regrettably, there are many folks out there that do not really have any family or anybody to claim them in their posthumous state. So this is an opportunity for us to provide them a respectful and dignified way of being interned. And if the circumstances change and they have an opportunity to be claimed by someone, they can be retrieved. They'll be cataloged and directly available for other circumstances. Yes. So, and we appreciate everything that the coroner's office has done, and I believe you worked with Wetzler's
Yeah, they were fantastic.
to
They're
Wetzler's
very
Funeral
helpful.
Home to make a lot of this happen. So this has been a long time coming, but at the same time, it's been a lot of hands making sure that this is done respectfully and appropriately. So I want to thank you for your hard work and everyone involved.
Yes. Any questions from the press on this? Because this is kind of a unique situation. No? All right. Well, unless there's anything else, I think we can move forward with the purchase.
I will move to approve the purchase of the columbarium from Happy Valley Monuments.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the columbarium from Happy Valley Monuments. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Julian, Domer and Deb, and Scott Sayers, the coroner.
We're going to move forward quickly.
Yes.
I spoke with Dylan this morning. With that being said, he's ready to start and we'll get moving. And the anonymous donation was made in honor of Pete Skolka.
No.
Wonderful. Yeah, she was amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes,
Great. Thank you.
thanks. All right. We'll now consider approval of Center County Government's language access policy. I believe Chad's covering that, plus an additional item.
Yes, so this policy goes in conjunction with the resolution for the language access coordinator and the language access plan. Any changes of this version of the policy from our previous one is just to match the wording that was presented in the language access plan. So just looking for approval today for the county's language access policy.
Oh, all right. Just an update then. Commissioner Concepcion, anything?
No, I think.
Commissioner Dershowitz? Good. All right.
Okay, then I will move to approve Center County's language access policy.
I will second it.
We have a motion, a second, to approve Center County's language access policy. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And then Chad has another important item involving backup, which nowadays with all the various cyber attacks is very important.
Yes, so this is our contract renewal with Veeam Software. It's the company we use for our data backup, our Office 365 backup. So this contract total is $30,352.75 and will run until September 5th, 2025.
Great. Thanks for doing the work on that, Chad. Very, very critical. I know now even here in PA, we've had some counties be recently hacked in a fairly catastrophic manner.
Yes.
Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Yeah, it seems like a prudent path forward.
Yep.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
So good.
All right.
I will move to add the contract with CDWG LLC to next week's consent agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the contract with CDWG LLC to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
And now Glenn from our correctional facility is here with an update on body cameras, which are also an important safety component.
Good morning, everybody. I have for your consideration a contract renewal with Axon Enterprises to continue our body cam licensing, our usage, our cloud storage. This is a 5-year contract renewal. This is contingent on one piece we're waiting back from Axon, them signing the right to know. We don't anticipate it being a problem since it's a renewal, but just somewhere in the shuffle it got a little bit delayed. So we do have the money in the budget for this. We planned for this. This $64,000 is spread out over the 5-year contract. With this contract, we will get all new equipment in 30 months. So we'll have the most up-to-date again every 30 months with this. So.
All right. Well, that explains why I see wording about 30 months, but it's a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
We'll have equipment upgrades and new equipment every 2.5 years or so.
Yes, sir.
That sounds good. Very important equipment. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Yeah.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
All good.
All right.
I'll move to add the contract with Axon Enterprise, Inc. to next week's consent agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion, a second, to add the contract with Axon Enterprise, Inc. to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great.
thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. And now Carrie is back up for 2 items from Criminal Justice Planning.
Yes. The first is the submission of a, what we call a mini grant, requesting the board to approve the Center County CJAB Technical Assistance and Training Grant application to PCCD and CCAP in the amount of $2,000. Funds we utilize for adult mental health first aid training. So these are annual grants that PCC and CCAP offer for no more than $2,000, and we've last year we utilized the funds to purchase 2 of the OWL cameras. So this year we thought this would be helpful to offer another mental health first aid training class to folks within the county. So I'm just
Great.
looking for approval. Do you want me to go to the next one?
Go to the next one.
Okay. The next one is for permission to submit a grant application to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for the Burn Justice Assistance Grant, or JAG grant as we call it, not to exceed $250,000 over 2 years. The funds we utilize to support the implementation of a new caseworker position within the Public Defender's Office to coordinate services for their clients. This may sound familiar. We did submit an application previously in 2022. Unfortunately, we were not selected for funding. But our CJAB strongly feels that this is an initiative that we should revisit and submit another application for this project. It's been identified as a priority in our strategic plan, and we want to try again. The JAG grant is a really great opportunity because there's a lot of different initiatives that you can put in for requests for, but it is extremely competitive, and they'll end up only funding maybe 15 to 25 projects. So So we're going to try to get some support in the Public Defender's Office. So the grant period would be October 1st, 2024 through September 30th of 2026, if we were selected for funding.
Great. Well, I know the department head in the Public Defender's Office, Dave Crowley, has been advocating for this for a number of years now. and
Yes.
it Seems like a very good idea. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, thanks for working on these.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
It's all good.
All right.
I'll move to approve criminal justice planning items 1 and 2.
We'll second it.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the 2 items for criminal justice planning. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay, motion carries. Great. Thanks, Carrie. And now Krista has an additional safety item here called Life Back, and it looks like the sheriff is also going to assist.
Yes,
Join her.
I invited a guest this
All
morning.
right.
You may know
Unfortunately, you
him,
gotta
Brian
deal with me
Zimmerman.
now, no.
All right.
So actually, Risk Management has 3 grant ideas for you this morning. As you well know, our property casualty insurer does a wonderful job of offering us funds if we can think of safety and loss control ideas. So we then apply to them to get funding for those things. And this morning, we have 3 ideas, and the sheriff is here because he's kind of the mind, gave us the idea for most of them. So the first one is a Life Vac device. And so I brought one as a show and tell this morning, so I'm just gonna pass it around. But Sheriff, do you wanna explain how you got the idea?
So, as you know, we own a restaurant in Bellefonte, and my wife has someone come in who donates these to local businesses. I believe the story, she had a grandchild who died from choking. So from that, she donated one to my wife and to our business. So I said, well, if she comes in again, I'd like to, she wanted to donate one to the sheriff's office. I greatly appreciate it. So she donated one to our office. I then in turn went to Chris and said, this is a great idea. I think we should do this for the county, get some throughout the county, get a couple. So I took ours down to the courthouse. So I thought it was just a fantastic idea. They're relatively expensive, so to speak, under $100. So I brought their ideas that the training's pretty self-explanatory. It's a video, you get a little certificate, you print out your own certificate. So I think it's a fantastic idea, and it's helped save someone's life. It's worth it, so.
So I also brought the video with me and just wanted to show you about a minute's worth so you can see how the device works.
Let's practice using the device to create forceful cough. It's as easy as place, push, pull. To place the device properly on the choking victim, you're going to set the device just over the bridge of the nose and just above the chin. You're going to use a C for your index finger and your thumb, and an E for the rest of your fingers that will fit along their chin.
Oh no, what did I do?
You're going to submit get your approval that you completed your training.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just interrupted
She's
it
killing 2
early.
birds, 1 stone. She's going to do her training now. While she does this.
Oh,
You pull on that thing, right?
Yes.
Yes, so you
It's
press it
separate.
down.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Press down, just pull. Straight
Yes,
back.
and so it creates a suction, and then you press down and pull, and the item the item pops out. So it's similar to similar to the Heimlich maneuver. You're pressing the area so that the item dislodges, and this is the same kind of way to pull the item out.
But
So-
you're less likely to break somebody's ribs by
Rib,
using
yeah.
this device.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes. I'm so sorry about the video.
If that doesn't
That's
work,
fine.
you can always go to Plan B.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And these fit we put ours in the AED area, so they fit in the boxes we already have. So that was convenient. It's a nice little thing to have.
So that's why you see we ordered 19 of them, because we have 19 AEDs around the county. So
Yes.
that's where we'll store them. And so this is kind of like the launch of this at our commissioners meeting. So then we will be sending the longer video out to all the employees to explain that this is how you use it. You can get a certificate once you view the training, and then you'll know how to use it. So
How much do they cost if somebody would like to purchase one?
this is $69.99, and they
That's
come
not
with
outrageous.
a pediatric size. This is pediatric, and then an adult size. And the pediatric is used up to age 13. And then the masks are also good for about 2 years, and then you need to replace them. So, kept the bag on this one for
Yeah.
Obviously.
So that explains the 19 LifeVac devices. And then there's also 2 more that make up the full grant request this morning. The next one is a safety flammables cabinet. Our safety committee was inspecting the sheriff's office recently, and in the basement, we saw that there were some gasoline cans for the weed eaters that were just kind of stored there. So we thought a flammable safety cabinet would be helpful if we bought one of those to put there to prevent against fires. And then the last thing is, in the sheriff's lobby, there is one small floor mat that is right in front of the window where the sheriff's admin talks to the members of the public. And it's small enough that it can cause people to trip because there's edges on that floor mat. So we thought of having a much longer one, like a 12-foot mat, so that there wouldn't be any chance to trip, right? So, yeah.
You guys, well, yeah, that's fine. If it works, it works. So I was told that during their safety inspection, especially about the gas cans. They
Yes.
are loose down there. They use them for the mowers and the weed eaters around the lots and the grass there. So that's, I think, a good idea. And the mat, if it helps, I think it helps because we have people coming in wheelchairs and walkers and everything else. Another door, so it does get bound up there a little bit.
All right.
I didn't know it's all on the agenda today, so.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here I am.
So the total amount for all of these items that we just described is $2,787.06. And that is what we are here to ask for your permission to apply for.
Great, thanks, Krista. Any questions, Commissioner?
No,
Concepcion?
I'd seen the LifeVac devices advertised. I think because they were developed by someone who had lost a child.
And just be careful, this put this out there, LifeVac is suing some other manufacturers, mostly out of China, that are trying to imitate this online. And so LifeVac has a lawsuit, I guess, because it's simple to make, but they don't know if they're as functional as this one. So I just heard that in the news the other day. So
Good to know.
they are selling these online, they're cheaper, but the LifeVac is the original, LifeVac's the one that's regulated, so.
All right. Commissioner Dershowitz, any comments or questions?
Sounds like a great idea. I think it's, again, it's another one of those tools that help people in a event of an emergency. That's a very reasonable price for
Yeah, I agree.
for what it represents.
Great, well, looks like we're ready for a motion then.
I will move to add the loss prevention grant application with P Corp to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the loss prevention grant application with P Corp to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Krista. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, now moving on to Human Services. We have a grant contract for adult services that Faith will be covering.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am here with our ESG Emergency Solutions Grant contract. This is for our second cycle of services for both homeless prevention dollars that come through and are administered through the Office of Adult Services, as well as emergency services that we contract out, emergency shelter services that we contract out with Housing Transitions. So this year we were awarded $200,000. $70,250 will be going to our emergency shelter component. $122,250 will be going to the homeless prevention, and then we have $7,500 for administration. We're allotted up to 3.75% of our total grant for that.
Great, thanks for explaining that, Faith.
Sure.
Obviously, money that we can definitely utilize here in the county. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions? Commissioner Dershowitz?
Good, thank you.
All right.
Okay, I will move to add the contract for fiscal year 2023 Emergency Solutions Grant to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract for the 2023 Emergency Solution Grant to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Faith. All right, now we'll move over to John, who has two projects under the liquid fuels and fee for local use.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first one for consideration of approval is a liquid fuels application for Howard Township in the amount of $58,895 for a paving project road improvements to Bullet Run Road. This project was identified as an awardee as part of the 2024 overall liquid fuels program for the county, which was reviewed by the Commissioners. The overall project cost is $68,684.75, and the allocation requested is in line with the original liquid fuels review, $58,895.
All right.
The second project is consideration of approval for a liquid fuels check for Marion Township in the amount of $18,680 for the Slaughterhouse Road intersection improvements. This work is complete and has been signed off on by PennDOT, so this is the payment of the check for the completed work.
Great. Any questions from either commissioner on those?
Okay, I will move to approve the liquid fuels and fee for local use items 1 and 2.
We'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 items for liquid fuels and fee for local use. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay, motion carries. All right, we have a very small consent agenda. I'm assuming we'll just go straight and vote on that.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
We'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay, motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to authorities, boards, and commissions. We'll be appointing Mary Ann Zimmerman to the Children and Youth Services Advisory Board, starting on March 19th of 2024 and going to March 18th of 2026. I hear she's got a lot of background in those areas, and we're very happy to see her joining that board. Unless there's any questions, we take a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the ABC appointment.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ABC appointment. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Now we'll move on to the check run for Commissioner Concepcion.
Okay, the check that I'll recognize on today's check run is to the Children's Advocacy Center, which is at Mount Nittany Hospital, and our Children and Youth Services coordinates closely with them on child welfare cases. And with that, I will move to approve the check run dated March 15th, 2024.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated March 15th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. John, do we have any administrators report?
Nothing to report at this time.
All right, we'll move on to other reports and announcements. I believe we have our voters registration report that Commissioner Concepcion will cover.
So this week, we have 100,778 voters on our files here in Center County. That is up 15 from last week. Those are comprised of 42,186 Democratic voters, 138 Green Party voters, 597 Libertarian voters, 13,860 who have no affiliation, and 40,957 Republican voters. With all the other minor parties, that's a total there, which total 3,040. That makes up that total of 100,778. Our party of the week is the Campbell Party. They have 1 voter registered here in Center County. And our precinct of the week is Precinct 49, Ferguson Northeast 1. They vote at the Discovery Space Science Museum at 1224 North Atherton Street. And in the last election, there were 2,087 voters registered in that precinct, and 644 ballots were cast for a total voter turnout of about 31%. And I think that precinct has quite a lot of student voters in it, so that may be one of the reasons for a lower vote percentage there than in some of our other precincts. And we'd like to thank the Discovery Space for allowing the use of their facility for elections.
Great, thanks, Amber. Under regular announcements, Center County government offices will be closed on Friday, March 29th in observance of spring break. Do we have any executive sessions to report or hold, John?
There was an executive session held on March 14th at 2 o'clock to 2:30 to discuss a personnel matter. No additional executive sessions to be held.
All right, thanks. And our public meeting scheduled on Thursday, March 21st, a combined Salary and Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 o'clock here in the Willowbank. Next week, Tuesday, a Board of Commissioners meeting as usual at 10, and a Board of Commissioners work session at 11. And the following week, Thursday, March 28th, we have a Finance Committee meeting scheduled at 9 and a Board of Elections meeting scheduled at 1 o'clock. Do we have any questions from the press today? No? All right. Unless there's anything else for the good of the order, take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 10:56. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.